I'm Mrs. Powell in Sacramento, California.
I am Mrs. Powell in Benton County, Prosser, Washington.
I'm Mrs. Powell, Harris County, Houston, Texas.
I am Mrs. Powell in New Wells, Missouri.
I am Mrs. Powell, Jackson, Missouri.
I am Mrs. Powell, Everett, Washington.
I am Mrs. Powell, Shelby County, Tennessee.
I'm Mrs. Powell in Hood County, Granbury, Texas.
I am Mrs. Powell from Marion County, Palmyra, Missouri.
I'm Mrs. Powell, Bear County, San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Mrs. Powell and I live in Tonasket and Washington.
Hi there, I'm Mrs. Powell, Harris County, Houston, Texas.
I am Mrs. Powell.
And I am Mrs. Powell
in Cooley City, Washington.
I am Mrs. Powell from Evergreen, Colorado.
I am Mrs. Powell.
I am Mrs. Powell, Hayes County, Derby Springs, Texas.